Okay, my turn to talk?
Your turn to go. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I will just give a bit of an entree, just explaining this trip. It was a very short trip, 9 days around Southern California, I think about 5 years ago now. And it happened really for a couple of reasons. One, we've spent a lot of time in and out of Los Angeles, but not really time to explore. And also, we have a car. At that time, it was in Oregon, and the lady who was minding it wasn't in town. So I had to fill in 9 days before we flew up to Eugene, Oregon to pick up the car. So we did two things on this trip. One, we went around Los Angeles by public transport. I was surprised to see they have a great subway system there and buses also. And then about 5 days or so, 6 days, we rented a car and we drove south of LA. I made up a map that shows some of the places that we went. Of course, everybody knows Los Angeles, and we spent time in Huntington Beach and down in Escondido and Apple Valley, and a number of those stops were dictated by the fact that travel club members were there. So
there's no place to record, to turn on the sound.
And remember that you can use your cursor.
Yeah,
Dennis,
right. Yep.
Dennis, let me just tell Dennis to please mute himself. Dennis in Colorado, can you mute yourself, please? Okay.
He's muted now.
Okay.
Ready to go again?
Ready to go, Ron. Thank you.
Okay, good. So actually, I thought that we had done kind of like a clockwise trip here, but that's not correct. And also, the slides that I have, I actually made them up for a presentation that I did at our local travel club, and they're not exactly in the correct order, but I don't think that will bother too many people. So this is the website that Kathleen was talking about that I would highly recommend. Very easy to remember, roadsideamerica.com. And I think Kathleen has actually gone on it at my urging to see what's in the Dallas area. You can pick a state and you can grab everything in that state. And they only list one type of tourist attraction, the tourist attraction that almost nobody goes to. So it's really fun, and we use it a lot on our trip. Did you start the timer, Ben?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so once in a while, by accident, some common thing shows up on the website, and this is an example of one of the pages that shows the Hollywood sign, which of course everybody knows about. And on the left-hand side in the green, they give you directions, although those directions are not particularly good, but they generally give directions if the activity or the thing is very obscure, so you can find it. So I've got a lot of slides to show, so I apologize, they're going to go fairly quickly, and I hope that I can evaluate the amount of time that people are interested in seeing them. This is my beautiful wife coming out of the house of one of our hosts. Oh yeah, another thing I would mention, most people, when they do travel logs, don't show a lot of pictures of themselves. By the end of this one, you'll be very sick of pictures of us, because that's the kind of picture we like to take. And this one shows what great breakfasts we get, as many people know when they're visiting different hosts. And we often get a chance to eat things that we wouldn't buy for our own table, although strawberries and papaya are things that we do get here in Australia also. So the host there took us up to the Hollywood sign. She knew exactly how to drive there to get to the parking lot where you can see it. Next stop was downtown. Again, this is contrary to what I was saying. This is a very common tourist attraction down in front of the Grauman's Theater in LA, where everybody congregates. And of course, there's some great photo opportunities available there. And my wife wanted to photograph all the stars that made it to Myanmar. She lived in Myanmar for the first years of her life, and these were the ones that were on TV there. And other ones, Will Smith, Clark Gable. Yul Brynner was a gigantic star in movies shown on TV in Myanmar back in the 1970s and 1980s. And that's the one that I like, the famous one with Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe. This is an example of something that we never would have known about was a tourist attraction until we found it on Roadside America. Of course, we have to do shopping. That area, whenever you have a lot of people congregate in the United States, you never miss an opportunity to spend money. And those sunglasses were $5, and I think Sandar bought 2 pairs. Whenever I look for sunglasses, I look for something that will make sure that I stand out from the crowd, and that pair definitely fit that bill. Another thing we saw walking around downtown LA was this fantastic bridal skirt or bridal shop generally for the Hispanic people in the area, but the lady would not let us take pictures inside the shop. I guess she's afraid of people copying her designs. So we managed to get this quick one just outside on the sidewalk. Again, I don't remember the name, but it's one of the old Art Deco type theaters in downtown LA. Really beautiful. That's just the lobby. It was closed at the time. And oh yes, we always love American food. And this one, yeah, we were walking around LA and we saw this kind of like Mexican market, and we just went in there, and there were many, many stalls. We didn't know what to do, but we saw a woman walking by with this fantastic feast in her hand. So I said, where? And she said, oh, she showed me to the thing. I said, well, what's it called? So I needed the word. So she gave us the word, and that was the lunch for the both of us. Okay, this is the other thing that we like to do is we like to go to a lot of museums. So I think we ended up going to 3 museums, all in downtown LA, and I'll go through the pictures fairly quickly, but we always like to see funny stuff that we don't see normally. I'm not sure, but I think this is was a painting based on the kind of like the myth, the popular myth about the Hollywood sign, and some actress threw herself off it and died. I don't know if the placement is correct, but yeah, you see, art can be anything. Art can be anything. You know, you never, I don't know, maybe $10,000. Who knows? Who knows? You know. This is the big new concert hall in LA. You can see vaguely on the picture Walt Disney concert hall. It's really spectacular. I think we tried to get inside, but they were setting up. You can see, oh yeah, here you can see they were setting up for some kind of a show that night, so it wasn't really open. We just had to wander around the outside grounds. That's part of it there. Yeah, but this is good. Okay, another museum in downtown LA, I think Fine Arts Museum or Modern Art Museum, and this is a sculpture that one guy made in the lobby outside. And we were unbelievably lucky. I mean, we had no idea, but we were sitting by I don't think they opened until like 5 p.m. or something like that, and we were sitting near the entrance, and one woman came up to the box office and she said, "Excuse me, sir, is today the free day?" and I said to my wife, "Gee, I think the guy said yes." So I ran up and said, "Yeah, today's the free day." So we got in for free. And there's some of the things inside. And not only was it free day, at the end of free day, they gave out free cupcakes and lemonade. So it was a win-win all around. Very impressive. Okay, this is the big museum in downtown LA. Really, really good. And same story. We were sitting outside and waiting like everybody else. I think it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and turned out to be the free entry day. Might have seen that picture. It's just a sculpture outside the museum. Trying to get a different angle on it. How are we doing for time, babe? Just turn that around. Okay. Good, lots of time. Yeah, again, you can make art out of anything, and these are examples of it. One of the things that I've always liked is the Pacific Island skull carvings, and there were a lot of them in that museum. A lot of them tend to show areas of the human body that are not represented in art from other areas. I'm not sure if that's why I took the picture or just that they were funny looking. I'm not sure why. I think Picasso. I'm pretty sure Picasso. And silver work. I think it's a door, actually. Door. And I think that room was all Rembrandt. Not positive, but big money, big money. And different religious pictures. Yeah, not your average candy dish. Yeah, and we saw something from Myanmar, so I had to take a picture of that. We were surprised, but again, art, but art that is enhanced by having me in the picture as well. And one of the things we liked it, of course, we should have thought of it, but in a museum, you need to have a very big elevator. So that was the elevator that yes. They had a very good section, you know, like they do presentations about certain subjects, and this one was on soccer or football. That's the lobby entranceway. Not sure what that is. Memories for people of our age, pictures of 1960s. I like this one. Sunbathing in Southern California. I think I saw, yeah, over on the right-hand side of the picture is a 1967 Camaro. So that's when it would have been, around that time, mid to late 60s. More trophies. My trophy wife. Painting. Okay, this is the one Kathleen liked the best. It's big, and I was disappointed I couldn't get what I would call a real good picture of it. But as you can see, somebody with imagination, you know, what's football got to do with the Hulk and Star Wars and Jesus all around? You know, very good. I loved it. That's the kind of stuff I go crazy about. There's another picture of Jesus watching the football match. And I thought that one was, I don't know how I got that picture. It's a funny shape. But I thought that one was particularly interesting, so I took a picture of the story, you know. And if you go to museums, you'll notice that they always have some kind of explanation there. But it's a little bit, you know, these explanations are pretty esoteric, I would call it. Embraces these figures as Jesus in the form of numerous figurines. In the milieu of a sporting event, these actors are given the opportunity to play strikingly different roles. Something about that. In the museums here in Brisbane, which we have a really great museum and we go to it a lot, they usually have two of these. They have one explanation like this of the artwork, and then they have another one for children. I always read the for children one because you can understand the for children one. This one's pretty hard to understand. More football, art. Okay, back to Pacific Islands art, probably New Guinea. Again, sharks play a big part there in the art of those islands. I think that's Gauguin, Paul Gauguin. Not sure, but ones that I like. Okay, we also went to what is one of the more famous cemeteries in the United States, Forest Lawn Cemetery, very big. Most people seem to go there for picnics. They had fantastic lawns, and they really had a great indoor place to bury people. I forget the name of it now. But we couldn't take any pictures there, so we ended up taking pictures. That lady was the curator of the museum, of the mausoleum, and they had a lot of these sculptures. This is the view. It's up high on a hill. Again, religious or semi-religious sculpture. David. There's another one. My wife is trying to make it more palatable for people who don't want to see any obscenities. Okay, back into downtown or Santa Monica, Rodeo Drive. All of these places we were just walking around.
No,
you know,
he's talking Southern California.
I thought you said Australia.
He's from Australia.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to get this voice on.
Hey, please
We're all
mute yourself unless you're Ron or Kathleen.
So this is the car that we wanted to rent, but we found that the price was too high, so we rented a different car. And we always take pictures of things. Again, the other thing I have to say is that these pictures were not taken with an American audience in mind. Many of these things are common to Americans, but Australians have never seen a bar cycle before. And you know, when I show these pictures to friends here, they're really interesting pictures. We're walking by, see a Buddha thing. My wife had to have a quick prayer session. And this is walking out on the Santa Monica Pier. Again, probably one of the more famous piers in California. And this is walking down Rodeo Drive. And this is a Bugatti Veyron, the first car to go 200 miles an hour on the street. And the guy must have had some special permission because it was the only car parked on that side of the street. Generally, parking was not allowed. And it seemed to be right outside a really high-class jewelry store. So probably was the owner's car. And my wife wanted to have her picture taken in front of all the famous designers. I think that's inside the Los Angeles Times office. Okay, so now we've got our car and we're heading down. We're staying with the hosts in Venice Beach. And we didn't know Venice was called Venice because of the canals. And that's what it is. It's all the houses are on canals. I'd only been like right to the beach before. And this is just like 1 or 2 streets behind the beach. And it's all waterways. And you can see people have their boats parked there, mostly pretty small boats. And kayaks, walk outside your front door. And this thing also is a boat. You may have seen that in a few places. It's one of those paddle boats shaped like a swan. Okay, so now we're walking along the what I call boardwalk, but it's not made of board. The boardwalk along Venice Beach is a concrete path, and it's populated by a lot of people on bicycles and walkers and joggers and so on. And the houses, of course, I wouldn't even want to guess at the cost to have a house right on Venice Beach, nothing between you and the water. Another Buddha statue that we had to take a picture of. And some of the architecture, of course, if you're going to spend a couple of $1 million just for the land, well, you want to have a special house. So again, these are things that nobody in Australia has ever seen. They might be common in your neighborhood. Ah, yes. Never lack of quality food to buy in the United States. Never lack of quality food. Ah, yeah, there's another thing we'd never seen, maybe common in your neighborhood. The Green Doctors, $40 for your medical marijuana card. You just walk in and one of these surely fully accredited doctors will give you a prescription. And you don't even have any money. You don't even need any money. They got the ATM right outside. Again, just walking along the Venice Beach, there is the beach, there's a little bit of grass, and then there's the path, and of course, then there's the vendors, and you're never lacking an opportunity to spend money. Yeah, funny t-shirts. So many people have crazy things. Well, this one picture of nothing. I can only please one person each day. Today is not your day. Tomorrow doesn't look good either. We like this stuff, but we don't like the price. So we look for it in the secondhand stores. Maybe it's only $2 if the guy's throwing it away. Again, you can see tons of people walking along the narrow path there. And this is the part of Venice Beach that probably is the most famous all the way around the world, the workout area, the muscle beach part, where guys come and show off their pecs. Again, a few t-shirts. I don't know about that. You know, you might, if you're wearing that kind of thing in Australia, you might get too much attention from the constabulary. Ah, yeah, that's where we had lunch. Can you remember what we had, dear? Taco? I don't remember. Yeah. And this is how people eat their lunch there. There's a fairly wide stretch of green grass between the strip and the actual sand. So you can picnic. You can have your picnic there. Beautiful trees. And again, the thing that I noted that I liked about this picture is right up at the top. They have a rooftop. I don't know whether it's a private house or a bar or whatever. I don't know. Good vantage point for sure. Again, lots of stuff to buy. Massage, $5. And every once in a while, a crowd gathers, and the crowd is gathered for a reason. And the reason is that they spread out an open area and somebody does a performance. It's hard to see, but if you look at this shadow here, you can see there's a guy upside down here. It's very hard to pick him out against the crowd, but there's one foot and there's his other foot, and he's doing some kind of a somersault. And this would go on for 20 minutes or so and entertain the people. Again, I think this guy over here is roller skating. And I'm always on the lookout for people who look different. And this little old lady with her chihuahua, I think that people actually dress up just to go down to the beach and be seen, you know? And I think I never noticed it before, but when I was looking at these pictures, I think there's 3 women here that are walking along all with almost the same dress on.
Say, Ron, what year was this trip?
I think around 2015.
Okay, thank you. Someone asked on the
So
chat.
this one, yeah, I think it was about 2015. So this is, I was amazed, you know, even severely disabled people get to have their day out on the beach. And gosh, wouldn't you love to have some of this art in your living room? Which one would you pick, Kathleen? I think this one is yours.
Do you?
And I think this guy, I don't know why, this guy is famous. He's been seen on TV and movies a lot. He's on Venice Beach every day on like roller skates or something, but I don't know what he's doing in that picture. And I thought this lady on the right was particularly imaginatively dressed, so she got into my photo album. And good quality food, good quality. Okay, and there's a good example of the typical thing that would run for maybe a mile or 2. Houses on the left, the path, then the trees, and then just over that tree hump on the right-hand side would be the actual sand of the beach. Okay, I never show a travelogue without one of my favorites, and that is we go to see some car shows. So I'll go through these ones fairly quickly if you're not that interested in old cars, but the cars here were fantastic. We had to get a shuttle bus, University of California, from the parking lot into where they had the car show. There's our $5 sunglasses. And there's a particularly interesting, they call them lead sleds, cars that are highly modified, originally started out as a 1950s Mercury. Okay, my wife is hitting me, go faster.
Wow, look
That's
at
the
that
one,
though.
that's the one, like 300 SL Mercedes, about, I think, late 1950s. Custom Pontiac, okay. Back onto next beach. This was another host in Huntington Beach, and this allowed us to go to the beach. I'll go through a little quicker. One of the things that we found common in beaches in California are these volleyball courts. I've never seen them in Australia, and Huntington Beach had tons of them. That night, we were lucky. We were there on Friday night, and I think every Friday night in Huntington Beach, they have like they close off the street, and they have like a fair. These people are watching the zebra. How are we doing for time, babe? Yeah, we're okay, eh? Yeah, we're good. We're right on time. We're going about the right speed. Strawberries for sale. Balloons, twisted balloons, vegetables. Free entertainment, funny drinks, climbing wall. You know, we love these things in the United States. They're so much better than going to a community event in Australia where we only see the same things over and over again. When we go to one in the US, there's tons of things that we can take pictures of that we've never seen in our life, and we will never see if we stayed in Australia for 1,000 years. Yeah, like nobody in Australia has a, what do you call it, a high-class pet food caviar store. Doesn't exist, but maybe common in the US. I don't know, at least in Huntington Beach. Art. Yeah, there's a picture again. It was just as it was getting dusk, you know. There you can see on the left-hand side, you can see all the volleyball courts and people just sitting, waiting for the sun to set. Another thing I like about is the rules. I always have the rules, you know. I think it has something to do with the lawsuit friendliness of the United States. They want to make sure that they've warned you about anything, so you can't sue them if you sit on the pier and get hurt. Yeah, many things we see in the US we want to take back, but we only have so much space. And I really like this thing. I would love to have that on the top of my roof, but we did not get it. People doing different activities, watching the sunset. I like this one. All these girls lined up to take pictures of the family. More fishermen. Quick, dear, get in front of the policeman so I can take a picture. The bubble man, soap bubbles. Okay, now we're at our host's house, and as many of you might know, if you are hosts or if you stay with hosts, the general rule is the host gets up about an hour before you do to prepare your breakfast. So this is what happened here. And our hostess was, she'd already made the bacon and laid everything out for some kind of taco. I can't really remember. There she is. And instructing my wife on how to do it once we get home. Again, pictures around Huntington Beach. Ah, yeah, Kathleen, this is one that Kathleen is very sad she's never been able to buy. Salt and pepper shakers in the form of a voluptuous female. Don't laugh
I
too
don't know
hard.
if any of our members have salt and pepper shaker collections. I'm sure there are some. Yes. And the ashtrays.
I really like, this is some kind of bar, taco Sharkies or something. So I love the dress code. No weapons, no jerseys, no bandanas, no steel toes, no baggy clothing, no gang members, no tank tops, no ripped clothing, no sleeveless shirts, no muscle type attire, no wallet chains, no sunglasses, no skateboards. I don't know. You better look at everything you have to make sure you can get in. Okay, so right near the beach, there is like a wetlands area, and we walked around there, and there was a school group going at the same time. So they're coming at us, and it's not that exciting, but interesting contrast to the desert area of California and, unused area. Also, of course, lots of boats. Tons and tons of money. And this is something, again, nobody in Australia ever seen a hookah lounge. I don't know if they're common or not, but walking around Huntington Beach, there it was. We didn't see anybody doing it, but, and again, anesthesia-free teeth cleaning for your dog, not for you, for your dog.
Ron, someone put in the chat that in Dallas, there is actually a pet hotel.
All right, where you put
It's
your
called
pet.
the Pooch Hotel, I think.
All right.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, we see a lot of unusual houses, but this has got to take the cake. This is obviously a normal house down below, and then the guy decided that his view of the ocean wasn't good enough from his little low-set house, so he built this part of his house up above. And I would guess that he might have an elevator. I don't know. And you can actually see it there behind us. We're sitting on the beach. It was a fairly cold day, but the little bit of the house rises up behind in the picture. And again, we're taking pictures of houses because there are types of houses that in Australia we've never seen. Yeah, I don't know what it is. This seemed to be common there. These are right on the beach, but they're still like 150, 200 yards from the water. But it seems to be common to have like the bottom almost looks like a full garage, and then the house is up high, probably for a better view. Now I think we're now heading south, and this is Long Beach. Again, unusual houses. Big Botox ad. I don't know, what is Ulthera or cool sculpting? I'm pretty sure it's to make people look better. Okay, this, you wouldn't normally take pictures of a library, but this library was so impressive. And we like to go to libraries a lot because one, you can find books in the libraries in the United States that we wouldn't find in the libraries in Australia, and I'm into books a lot. And also, some of them are very impressive. This one was the most impressive library that I'd ever seen. And I'd never seen a library with a pool in the middle of the library. And also, they had all the different times all over the world, different hours. And one thing I do when I go to the library is I take photographs of the books that I might want to get. And sometimes when I come back, I go down to our local library and give them the name of the book, and they order it in for me.
Well, finish the story about when your library buys the
Okay,
book.
well, yeah, these books, of course, would, baseball. There would be no baseball books in the library in Australia. So if they'll buy the book for me, then I get an email when it comes in, and I get to take it out. And then nobody else ever takes it out for a couple of years, and it shows up on the $1 pile. So it's a double win. So these are all books that I don't think I've actually ordered any of these books, but I just have too many to order. I just get too much information.
What did you tell them? Ordering.
I tell them that I don't use the stuff. Okay, so this was again an unbelievably fantastic part of this library. I mean, all libraries sell books, but these guys had hundreds and thousands of books for sale, you know, like for $1 and $2 and so on. I'm sure we must have stocked up. And again,
Stan
this
in
is all,
Montreal said their library does the same thing.
yeah, all libraries sell books, but
Some on
I've never
sale.
seen a library with that many books for sale. Well, you know, that section of the library is not part to borrow. It is only to sell.
What was in the pool?
What was in the pool?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so this is the freebie stuff. You know, again, in the United States, no matter where you go, if it's a public area, they have all these free magazines that you can get. So we love free stuff. And that's the beach library. Okay, so now we're heading down the coast to Laguna Beach, and these are two well-known places, Laguna Beach and San Juan Capistrano.
This was south.
Okay, this is a view from, I've got the map here. I made it, what is it?
You didn't tell me this was live.
Not the Salton Sea.
Yes.
Mm, somebody might recognize it. I can't remember. It's the road in between Los Angeles and San Diego, but it's a little bit inland. It's a beautiful.
Highway 5?
I can't remember. I can look at the map here, but I
It
thought I
doesn't
had it.
matter.
Yeah, I looked at the wrong lake. Okay, continue. Right, so here's, there are many of these Spanish missions in California, but for some reason, somebody wrote a song about this one, and it's the most famous one, and it gets thousands of tourists every year. San Juan Capistrano. And we found out that knowledge of this particular mission is on the official grade 4 syllabus in California. So many grade 4 classes tour there as, you know, extension of their classroom learning. Beautiful building. And because they get a lot of visitors, of course, they are organized. And so all the kids come with giant lunches, so they have a particular place for them to put them while they're traveling around the grounds of the museum. Lunch wagon. And this is the actual church part. My wife had to practice being a Christian. We have this flower, we have this flower a lot in Australia.
It's the bird of paradise.
Bird of paradise, right. Yeah. I like that topiary in the form of a cross. And there's the kids playing with the goldfish. Only 12 minutes left, eh? Better hurry up. Okay, one of these fake old designers. What do you call it?
A diner?
Yeah, a diner, not designer, a diner, right? And of course, in California, again, the litigious idea, make sure that you know that if you eat there, you may catch cancer or have a birth defect. Fantastic place to sell plants, and of course something to look at outside to draw you in. Took a few pictures of the more impressive plants, and this is some of the inside of the store. Really a lot of stuff to buy to add your garden. Again, rules. This is down on the beach. Fantastic beach pictures. Again, not crowded, as you can see. I can't really remember. I think it was spring. It's March, April, something like that. This was a very imaginative golf cart being guarded by the bulldog. And I'm not sure who's doing the guarding here, either the one in black and white or the one in green. Not sure who the guard is. And there we went out to dinner with our hosts. I think they were in that San Juan Capistrano area. Okay, so now we're inland and we found a host in Victorville. So I looked up on Roadside America to find out what was there. One of the things is a museum. There are many Route 66 museums, and this was one of them, fairly close to the California end. And they had this great setup to take a picture in a 60s van. And we wanted to buy this Burma shave thing, but it was part of the exhibit, not available for Burmese people to buy. Yeah, so again, we're looking up in Roadside America, what exists around this area of Apple Valley, where our host was. We'd never heard of Apple Valley before, but it turned out to be the not the birthplace, but the hometown of Roy Rogers and his burial location. There's the cemetery, and there's the statue. I do not believe that Roy Rogers' horse is inside of the statue. I think it's an actual statue, not a preserved version. And we had great difficulty in finding Roy Rogers' grave. Even when the guy told me where it was, I couldn't find it. And then when I finally found it, I saw the reason. It didn't say Roy Rogers. It said something Franklin Sly, his real name. Leonard Franklin Sly and Francis Octavia Dale Evans. But they did have some hints on the enclosure in which those graves were put, and I should have spotted that, eh? So here's another thing that nobody would ever find it. In fact, the people we were staying with lived 10 miles from this thing, and they didn't even know about it. It was out in a far out part of Apple Valley. It's a small town that's spread out a lot. And so we found it in Roadside America, and I love this kind of stuff. And there's another example that they have more than one page, and they show you an example, and they use previous visitors' comments about it. So when I saw that it's pretty neat, and I had to go. So here they are. I have no idea what it was originally supposed to be, but it's not in good shape now. You can see it's really not in the town. It's on the outskirts of the town. Some people have these dinosaurs as a view out their front window.
I don't know about everybody else, but those just strike me. I'm going to have to go see them.
Yeah, exactly. And I can tell you something, Kathleen, there won't be a crowd there when you go.
And that was done in 1970.
A lot different from Disneyland. You don't have to line up to get in. That's our host. Oh yeah, once in a while, well, no, not once in a while, often when we go to visit people, they've never had real Asian food before. Of course, Chinese takeaway, but my wife makes a lot of Thai and Burmese recipes, and we often do that for them one evening. And often they like it a lot. This is their backyard. Typical American house, gigantic. And here's another thing that we never would have known. There's a gigantic Burmese temple there. I'm going to have to go through these fairly quick. I see 7 minutes left on my thing.
Yeah, and Ron, don't worry about it, the time. I mean,
okay. I'll go a little longer. Yeah, so we found this Buddhist statue temple. It turns out to be many Vietnamese people from Los Angeles all put their money together, and when they want to have a special day or a special ceremony, they have to drive, 50, 75 miles. I can't remember. It's a long ways from downtown LA. And even some of the local people, and there was nobody there. It was empty and open. We just wandered around. There were a few workmen, but they didn't know what the rules were. So we could wander around inside, and it's a gigantic installation. And we saw all these statues, and we wondered, we said, they can't be done here. And we found a box behind one of the buildings. We found a box, and they had all been sculpted in Vietnam and shipped over in gigantic wooden boxes. Look at them. There's like 50 of them. It's gigantic money. Amazing. And even obviously not designed for the local, people who live in Apple Valley. I don't know how many of them can read the Vietnamese rules in the toilet. Okay, another semi-famous area in Southern California, Mount Palomar, an observatory, and we decided to go there. I had tried to get there many years earlier and had been turned back because of the fog. And on the way, we saw this Japanese group of visitors. Kind of interesting. It's kind of a well-known story that many Japanese tourists are middle-aged single ladies. Again, something that I've never seen in Australia. I'm not sure. They're looking for the car, I think. There we are. We often have our meals. We have all our picnic stuff in the back of the car. On this trip, we were able to borrow it from our friends in Hawthorne, and we have our picnics in the rest stops. This is up at the top of Mount Palomar. And we couldn't get in. It's normally open, and this was the one day that they were digging a trench across the road, so they closed it. We were so ticked off. I really wanted to get there. And you can see right here, you can see a small vision of the observatory, and it's got a trail there. So I said to Sandar, well, I'm going to go down the trail. But I went down the trail for like half an hour, and I still couldn't see it. So I ended up turning around. I didn't make it. This is the trail. And the road, of course, up there to the top of the hill is a fantastic motorcycle road. And you can see that when we're at the top, we're even above the clouds. The road way down below. There's our little car that we rented. And sometimes we cannot resist the food that they offer. So we bought one of those apple crumbles for lunch. And whenever there's one of these stores, my wife does not allow me to pass by. So we had to stop. And in this particular store, they had a funny sign. And there's Sandar in her favorite activity of all, looking through the $1, $2 clothes racks. We buy most of our clothes in the United States. We're really suffering now because we haven't been able to travel for a year and a half, 2 years, and our clothes are getting worn out. Okay. Another town, Escondido, Southern California, right near the border of Mexico. We had Mexican food. And this one we didn't know about. We're just driving by, and it's a very well-designed park for the kids. I've never seen anything like that. Neither is anybody else in Australia. Okay, kids playground. I'm not sure. I think those are they all presidents? Yeah, famous American presidents. Yeah. One thing we really like about the United States, you can buy great hot sauce in the United States for $1 in the 99-cent store. But if you want to get more money for it, you have to put a better label on it. You know, here they're raised up to $7 because they've got a really neat label. And you can even get more than $7 for it if you put an obscene label on it. It goes up to $10.50. Okay, yeah. The guy we stayed with in Escondido had this beautiful Corvette, I'm going to go through these fairly quickly. We went to
Oh,
a park.
actually, I've gotten messages. People want you to go slowly through the like old car sections.
Okay, 59
Yeah.
Chevy. 59 Chevy. Well, the best one is at the end. 58 Cadillac. I'm an old Cadillac man. The car we have in the United States is a Cadillac. I used to have a 56 Cadillac in Canada. Beautiful interior. And we consider this to be very low price. There's that $8,000 Cadillac. I think that's 1970. Free entertainment. The DeLorean from the movie. Another Corvette. This was the one I really liked, 57 Ford, and they don't, not just the car, the whole shebang, everything associated with the car, cake, veggies, transistor radio, everything period correct, as they call it. Really something. A few guys with motorcycles. Yeah, another car you hardly ever see on the street, I'm sure. Batmobile from the movie. Although I have read recently that a couple of people have made these. They see something in a movie and unbelievable amount of time and effort people spend for just to have something different. Absolutely amazing. Again, a regular, there, my time is up. Okay. Yeah, another car, like this car would be, there's none of these in Australia. It would be so good, but you can't bring it in because it has to have the steering wheel on the other side and it's too expensive to transfer. Yeah, some political, Kathleen warned me against political statements, so I won't make any political statement. I'll just show the pictures that were available there. I have no idea what this is about, but I think it has something to do with politics. And yeah, so many bargains. You can hardly lift 99 cents worth of potatoes. And here's two things I never thought I would find in Escondido, California: Laotian beer and a book about Canada's most famous hockey player. Okay, we're getting near the end now. This is the one that Kathleen liked the best. This is well known. Again, you can find it on Planet America, and we think it's fantastic. And I wanted to go there for years and years and years, but it's kind of like in the middle of the desert on the way to nothing, and you really have to make a dedicated trip. And here's the road there. You can see it's extremely desolate. There's absolutely nothing there. Very, very dry area. I would place it about 100 miles inland from San Diego. And here's the key. Here's how I found it on Roadside America. Borrego Springs, the beasts of Borrego Springs. And here they are, all over the desert in an area maybe 5 miles by 5 miles are these gigantic steel iron sculptures welded together. There's our car. Quite a contrast. The car that we were going to use a few weeks later is the biggest Cadillac I could buy, but for this trip we had the smallest Mazda you can buy. And of course we always like to look stupid in the pictures if we can. And I often place my special Australian hat in focus, if I can.
Come on.
These things are gigantic. An unbelievable amount of work, and hundreds of them spread all over the desert. There, to my knowledge, there's no map or anything. You just got to drive around. They're not on roads. You're just driving on the hard-packed desert floor, and you come up against them. They have a map? Okay, she says they have a map at the visitor center. We missed it. Really, really something. So much effort, so much money, so much time. And the day we were there, maybe 5 visitors.
Wow.
Look at that. It's not just the head. It's the rest of the snake is coming out of the desert too. Always trying to lend a hand.
And the dog with the stick.
Yeah, we didn't get to see everything. We tried, you know, but you can't see them. They're so spread apart. You can't see them. You just kind of have to drive around. Again, the turtle got my hat. Prospectors. Again, you can see the area is just completely nothing. Okay, now that's the end. We headed back to Los Angeles to get our airplane. The last few pictures, probably the airport, or this is our friend Bill's place where we stay in Hawthorne. He lives about 5 minutes from the airport, so we have a base there. And they have a shoe store there, and my wife bought these shoes for her daughter. I think they've been used once. Not that good for your regular shopping trip. Yeah, this store is fantastic. It's a walking distance from my friend's place in Los Angeles in Hawthorne. And I say that I'm the only white man that has ever gone into this store. There's another of our shoes. I have a whole cupboard full of them. And we treated our friends to a Mexican dinner, and that was a bargain priced margarita. And there's some hot sauce, and there's us, our final dinner, and that's at the airport. That's it. Finished.
Wow. So we need to get back to where we can see everybody, and I wanna see faces. So you want to
do something? Yeah, she's going to do something. It says new share, stop share. Okay, there we go. Okay,
yeah,
there we go.
Here we go.
Good,
Okay, did anybody, I mean, do you not want to go to Los Angeles again and see what you've missed?
I want to go to Los Angeles with Ron and Sandar. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah, we have a lot of friends that want to travel with us when we show them our pictures. They say, gee, gosh, you guys know how to have a good time.
Yeah, they're hilarious. They're just great.
Ron, when do you plan to come back to Southern California?
Well, we always land in Los Angeles and stay with our friend Bill for a day or two, but our car is now in residence west of Orlando. So we have a house in Orlando that we can rent. And we take the car from Orlando, and most of our trips in the last 3 or 4 years have been around the eastern part of the United States.
Mhm. Mhm.
We
You're
have
coming to see us, right, Ron? Ron, you're coming to see us, aren't you?
I'm afraid the sound didn't come through there.
Who's talking?
I think Meg.
Oh, Meg. Unmute yourself again, and you can repeat what you said. We couldn't understand.
I had unmuted. I muted again. You're coming to see us again, Ron. Hopefully this year. Next
Where
year.
are you, Meg? Where are you?
We're south of Tampa.
South of Tampa. Okay, right. Yeah. Yeah. The last few trips, we have done a lot of time in Florida.
Right.
And the other thing, I'm sure people have a lot of questions to ask. It's difficult to organize it, but I'll just throw in a plug. The reason that this show was on, because we already had the PowerPoint made up. We have much better pictures and much better stories about our trips around many other countries. So we recently spent time in Bali. That was our last trip before the shutdown due to the COVID. And we also, last year, we went to Ecuador, and we have many, many motorcycle trips around Vietnam, Thailand. Northern Thailand is our favorite spot of all. Malaysia, Laos, Cambodia. We have lots better pictures and lots better stories than that. The only reason we did this one was because it was already made up. So if Kathleen gets more invitations, we might try again.
Let's see. So Patricia and John Rankin said that the museum that Trigger had been sold, and the museum that was near Trigger, I guess, is gone. So I'm glad you have those good records.
Right.
Of it.
Yeah. Well, like I was just looking on the website recently, and I agree that they said that Roy Rogers' Trigger was somewhere else from where we saw that sculpture. The sculpture was in the burial grounds, so maybe there are two. I don't know. Anyways, you would surely, if you went to Apple Valley, you would go mostly for those fantastic dead dinosaurs rather than Roy Rogers' death burial ground.
I think all those Roy Rogers stuff was auctioned off like last year. Seemed like I read that somewhere.
Yeah, I read that also.
We're muted.
The news.
Yeah, well, I doubt if they auctioned off his gravestone.
Yeah, well.
We have a great story about San Juan Capistrano. We took our 3 boys, age 6, 16, and 16, on a trip through California one year. And we happened to be there at the right time that the swallows returned to Capistrano. So you can imagine trying to get 16-year-old boys up at 4 o'clock in the morning, because you have to get there at sunrise. And we get to that mission, and there's photographers and cameras, and everybody is waiting for the swallows' return. And the kids look at me and they said, "Mom, what does a swallow look like?" And we had no clue. It turns out there was this old priest, and
Like a 90-year-old
he was
priest?
blind, and it was his privilege to ring the bell when you saw the first swallow. And there was some younger guys there to show him when the swallow showed up. And honestly, I think maybe 2 or 3 showed up, and they probably let them out in the next town to get there. And they almost killed us.
Yeah.
And
At my 40th birthday, they roasted me with the 10 stupidest things we ever did with them, and that was like number 2.
But they remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they remember it.
Let's see, the Rankins said they moved to Texas from Escondido. And I was wondering, were you aware that there is that big metal sculpture place of, 5 acres of those things? Did you know about them?
Had no clue. And I said to John, we're going this summer. Maybe we should go to Borrego Springs and look at it. We've driven that.
Well, you have to.
We've driven that desolate road. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I said before, the hot setup is to go on Roadside America. I've even tried to get Kathleen to go to the Creation Museum that she now knows about is near Dallas, Texas. There's so many fantastic things that people generally don't know that are within 50 miles of their own home. If you go on Roadside America, look up your state and the particular towns that you know.
I have to tell you, I wore my walkabout shirt from Alice Springs.
All right, yeah, good.
Well, and we do have a lot of Evergreen members all through the Los Angeles down to San Diego area. So, you should, like somebody said the other day, they, I guess it was Ron, he said they look at the maps, see where travel club members are, and they kind of plan their trip accordingly. And I think that's a wise plan. I like that. So I think it could be fun to go and explore some of these areas. I'm going next October, and I assure you, I'm going to go see those metal sculptures.
And the dead dinosaurs too.
Yes, yes, I will have to see those as well. I'm just not decided if the people that I meet there, if I should tell them what we're going to see, or if I just say I have a day planned, and are they game, to go with sight unknown. So
Right.
we'll see about that. Does anybody else have some questions? Let's see.
I had one on the chat. That just if Ron knows, Ron and Roy and Marlene Fennell in Brisbane.
No, not to my knowledge. No, I have, because we're locked down here, you're not allowed to leave Australia. So we're not looking at any travel plans at the moment. We're just hoping that the situation changes.
Yeah. Yeah, they visited me and I visited them already. They're not Evergreen people. I try to talk them into it. They're Friendship Force people.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see. And Barbara Mahoney thoroughly enjoyed your photographs and comments, and she looks forward to seeing other presentations. And she really did like the sculptures in the desert as well. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And like I say, I tried to make it entertaining.
I think you succeeded. Thank you very much. Yeah, that was
Good
very
presentation.
fun.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Thanks. Yep.